Hi guys, in today's video the champ is up against Guardia, a Brazilian chess master, and we'll see a basic yet powerful strategy employed by Bobby to get an eternal knight. Let's get started. This game was played in 1960 and Bobby starts off with the knight to a3. Just kidding, of course it was e4. Then we get c5, the Sicilian defense, which is to capture if d4 is played. Knight f3, d6 supporting the pawn center, d4 from Bobby opening the game, and we get c takes and knight takes. So Bobby slightly ahead in development. Knight f6 hitting the pawn, then Bobby develops the knight to c3, developing and defending the pawn. a6, the Najdorf variation, which we also saw in the previous video I did, and this is one of Bobby's favorite lines he played as black himself, so you're actually down 10 points in material due to this. Bishop to c4, developing to an active central square. e6, making space for the bishop. Bobby drops the bishop back, then we get b5, Guardia expanding on the queen side. Bobby castles and Guardia develops. Bishop to b7, and with the king in the center we get f4 from Bobby. Knight to c6, hitting the knight, and Bobby takes the knight. Guardia recaptures, and there is a 2-on-1 on the e pawn, but Bobby pushes e5, hitting the pawn twice, but taking is bad. And white still not castled, but let's go back to the game. In the game we got e5 from Guardia, and this is where the strategy continues, ladies and gentlemen, as d5 is now a chronic weakness. Bobby develops the queen in order to defend the e-pawn, and Guardia's king is still in the center, so he develops. Bishop to e7, preparing to castle. Bobby goes bishop to g5, all part of his simple strategy, and it's all about the d5 square, which would be a beautiful outpost for the knight. So the key here is to identify weak squares, ladies and gents, but Guardia inserts. Queen to b6, check. King setups camp on the h1 square. We finally get castles from Guardia, and here Bobby continues with the d5 strategy. Note, it's too early to put the knight there, as the knight gets eliminated and black gets a passed pawn on d5. So let's go back to the game. In the game we got bishop takes knight, eliminating a defender of the d5 square. So looking closely, now there's one more piece controlling the d5 square, which is the light squared bishop. Guardia takes the bishop, then Bobby goes bishop to b5, essentially forcing a trade of bishops as it's aligned with the rook. So we get rook a to c8, which is going to become a semi-open file and also getting out of the bishop's diagonal, but Bobby takes out the bishop. Rook takes. The engine actually wanted queen takes as follows. And you can't move the knight to the outpost immediately as there's pressure on the c-pawn. Back to the game. And in the game we got rook f goes to c8, so pressuring the backwards pawn on d6. We get rook f to c8, doubling up on the c-file. However, this is a move too late as Bobby plays knight to d5, hitting the queen, so Bobby is in time to move his c-pawn, and we get queen to d8 from Guardia, c3 from Bobby. So we can see how beautiful the knight is on the d5 compared to the bishop. The knight is controlling key squares in black's camp, while the bishop is just sad. Guardia drops his bishop back as he has nothing better to do. Then we get another idea from Bobby, which is rook to a1, preparing to push the a pawn and play on the queen side. We get f6 from Guardia, but this is a blunder as it makes the bishop extremely sad once again, and it also opens up the diagonal against the king. So Bobby pushes a4 with the idea of doubling up on the a file, and Guardia goes rook to b8, which is a bad move, guys, as the bar also jumps from +4 to +10 in Bobby's favor. Can you see the tactic here, ladies and gentlemen, which is tied to the weakened diagonal? If you can, go down in the comments and tell me. But yes, the rook is loose and Bobby plays Monster Knight, taking the bishop on e7 check, forking the rook, and Guardia resigned in this position as capturing the knight leads to a fork. And white is just down a full rook, and there's no way Bobby is losing this game. And that's game over for black. So to summarize, what a nice strategic game from Bobby with the awesome knight versus a very depressed bishop, which needed a lot of medication. With that said, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys